And now a message from a sponsor. A new way to grasp math using video stories. Do you have a child or a grandchild struggling in math? Or that you want to do advanced work in math? Visual 65 is offering a free trial of our online math visual learning program. These videos will help students master operations with integers and one-step equations. We use video themes ranging from animals to sports, covering common core standards. Click on the link below for a free trial. A credit card is not required for the free trial. I will put that link at the very topmost position of my description box. Thanks. Okay. More than 500,000 people. America's homelessness crisis is rapidly exploding on both coasts, West and East Coast. Michael Snyder's website, endoftheamericandream.com. Now, when you buy the domain name End of the American Dream, you got to be pretty darn sure that the content you're putting on your site is accurate, and most likely is about the end of the American dream, as a warning, of course. And that's exactly what he's done. He bought the domain name, and that's the kind of stuff he's posting, and it's not made up. He's not stretching the truth. He's giving you hard numbers, data, proof. The American dream, as you and I would like to have known it, is slipping away for most people. We've got this out of control debt into the trillions, 21 point something, 21.5 or something trillion now. And it's going to keep going. But maybe Donald Trump will turn things around, abolish the freaking IRS, get rid of the Fed, and fix some of these issues. The homelessness crisis in the United States is getting a lot worse, and it's happening at a pace that is absolutely frightening. Did you realize that more than 500,000 Americans are homeless right now? 1 out of every 4 homeless actually has a job. But thanks to rapidly rising housing prices, they are not able to afford a place to live. So every night in this country, hundreds of thousands of people are sleeping in shelters, in their vehicles, or on the streets. It is a national crisis that isn't going away, and during the next economic downturn, it's only going to intensify. I've written about our exploding homelessness crisis on numerous occasions, but I had no idea that the numbers had gotten so large until I came across this article. Recent estimates indicate that more than 550,000 people experience homelessness in the U.S. on any given night, with about 2/3 ending up in emergency shelters or transitional housing programs, and 1/3 finding their way to unsheltered locations like parks, vehicles, and metro stations. According to the Urban Institute, about 25% of homeless people actually have jobs. I find that is difficult for me to wrap my hand around. Pain and suffering on such an immense scale. Americans often think of the homeless as drug-addicted men that don't want to work, but the truth is that about 1/4 of the homeless is made up of children. And things are getting particularly bad on both the East and West Coasts. Recently, here we go, Jake Tapper of CNN confronted Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti about the fact that homelessness in his city has risen by 50%. You were screamed at for 4 hours this week at a town hall on homelessness. Homelessness is nearly up 50% in your city since you became mayor. Which, you can't blame it on the freaking mayor. All right, can we be real for a second? But anyways, according to the LA Times, now there's a typhus outbreak, likely due to the booming number of rats attracted by all the food and human waste on Skid Row. 18 in life, you've got it. 18 in life, you know. His crime is time, and it's Skid Row, baby. Some critics may be saying, why are you campaigning for Democrats in the midterms and traveling when you have this huge crisis in your background? Well, truth be told, there's nothing he could do about it, to be honest with you. It's not something he did. He can't force the housing prices to come down. He can't force the liberals to get out of California and stop destroying their country, or their country, state, wanting to be a country. But at the same time, you are the mayor, and that's going to look bad on TV. Hey, you're campaigning. You got a problem over here. Oh, yeah, let me deal with the problem. Thanks for coming here, but I'm going to deal with this problem. What the hell am I going to do? How the hell do I deal with this? You don't. You just tell everybody you're going to. You're working on it, and then go back to campaigning. Oh, okay. I think they're linked. Well, wait a minute. If the U.S. economy was really... Wait a minute. No, keep going. I'm way down. Skid Row. Some of the critics may be saying, why are you campaigning? Yeah, okay. If the U.S. economy really was booming, the truth is that homelessness in Los Angeles would not be up to 50%. Well, let me say this. The housing prices are not just high in California, they are beyond out of control. So even in a booming economy, everybody ain't making Google executive salaries. High level programmer out there salaries. But Joe, they're making 100-something thousand a year. I know. It ain't enough. I think they're linked together, and I welcome a national conversation in Washington, D.C., where you see more homeless per capita than you see in Seattle, San Francisco, you see in red and blue cities. We have a mental health crisis. Oh, was he talking about the liberals now? You had to bring the liberals into this? We have a mental health crisis. Mayors can't avoid that. A lot of people told me never touch the issue of homelessness. I am so passionate about it. People are dying on our streets from opioid addiction, which they just, again, FDA passed one 10 times more powerful than another one that was causing major problems in this country, opioid. It has to go to one next step to get the final approval. Speaking of that. I'm so proud of our voters in Los Angeles who passed two the largest matters to combat homelessness. This is what people say is an unsolved problem, and I'm committed to solving it. Okay? Can you cause the housing prices to go down? No, I can't. Then you can't fix this problem. Not unless you're going to subsidize the homeless and build homeless shelters out everywhere, which then other people who are struggling to pay their bills are going to say, why am I doing this? This is killing me in my relationship and everything. Like, I'm ready to just go over there and join the homeless thing. I heard it's pretty nice. Well, that's why you can't do it. Sure, there needs to be homeless shelters, but shelters should be temporary. Help them get on their feet. Let's help you find a job, Not move in. Hey, they're. He's committed to solving the crisis, and yet it has gotten 50% worse while he's been mayor. Okay? And this guy dreams of someday becoming president. It can be argued that things are even worse in San Francisco. Thanks in large part to mountains of dirty needles and human feces, the city now spends $65 million a year cleaning up the streets. Are you kidding me? It costs that much? San Francisco isn't this giant city. I mean, it's a decent-sized city, but damn. $65 million to keep the damn thing clean? Gosh. San Francisco's housing crisis is also, of course, a homelessness crisis. And homelessness crises beget public defecation crises. And San Francisco has a serious public defecation crisis. The city spends $65 million a year cleaning up the streets. They figure that is so high because of the quantities of feces, urine, and dirty needles that find their way onto San Francisco streets. And despite the $65 million, San Francisco streets are very, very dirty. And they give out free needles because they don't want to pass dirty needles back and forth. They don't want, passing diseases back and forth. So the city, run by liberals, has decided, let's give out free needles. You might as well give out free drugs next. I mean, say it. I gotta say it. Put a liberal in charge, and they'll run your business or government into the ground. Case in point. Whoever's getting the $65 million right now is doing an absolutely terrible job because they are literally piles of poop all over the place. In fact, one recent investigation found 300 piles of human feces in downtown San Francisco alone. I gotta, 65 million. I'm going to just throw this conspiracy dart out there. It's a total conspiracy. I'm going to throw this one out there. Here it goes. Most of the $65 million was given to liberals, to other people who funnel it back into their campaigns and keep them fed nice with a nice salary at these companies that claim to do some of these things. Little side job, you wash my hand, I wash yours, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. And they're not really working like they should. That's probably not true. That's just a conspiracy. That's my conspiracy dart for the day. Don't listen to that. Meanwhile, things have gotten so bad in Seattle that one official is proposing to spend $3 million on a mass shelter tent. At the urging of local public health officials, Councilmember Teresa Mosqueda is proposing that the city of Seattle spend $3 million to open a mass shelter tent with 75 to 100 temporary beds for people living on the street. Now, you use the word shelter and tent. I'm not calculating $3 million for a mass shelter tent. That can sleep 75 to 100 people. Temporary beds in the tent area. And then when someone moves out, we got to clean all that up, possibly replace the bed, replace the mattress, replace everything to get the new person. So it's a never-ending expense. Announced as part of the Seattle City Council's ongoing budget deliberations, the request only includes the capital cost of setting up the tent, not the operating costs. City officials estimate it would cost an additional $2 million to run, likely bringing the total to around $5 million for the year. Once again, this seems like an enormous waste of money. If you spend $3 million to house 100 people, that means you would have to spend $30 million to house 1,000 people. And so what is going to happen when these cities have tens of thousands of people sleeping in the streets during the next economic downturn? Again, I don't even think we have to wait for the downturn. Just other people saying, I'm barely making ends meet, I'm struggling, I'm in credit card debt, I don't want to pay these bills, I'd rather go to the freaking tent city. I'll still keep my job, and then I'll be living like a king. Be buying my car cash, and, don't have a giant mortgage to spend. Mortgages used to be 5 to 10 years long. They used to be 50% down, get a 5-year, possibly a 10-year, that was it, loan. Turn of the century, that was in 1900s, early. Federal Reserve comes along, 1913. Income tax comes along, 1916. Stock market crash, 1929. Oh my God, we're not going to let you get kicked out of your houses, people. We've got a solution. We're going to extend your mortgage out to 30 years so your payment comes way down so you can stay in your house. Yeah, cheer for the president. Yeah. How come we didn't go back to 5 and 10-year mortgages after this problem was fixed? 1929 crash. Why are we still paying 30-year mortgages? And not only are we paying them, they're outrageously high. What, are they going to extend them to 60 years now? Well, we've got to get started at 10 years old. That way, when you're 70, your mortgage will be paid off. We don't want to get you guys kicked out, so we're going to extend and pretend, like we always do. We extend and pretend. The homelessness crisis continues to escalate on the East Coast as well. In New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of, the percentage of New York City students that are homeless has doubled over the last decade. Data from the New York State Technical and Education Assistance Center for Homeless Students, a project of advocates for children of New York, revealed a record 114,659 students were in temporary housing for the 2017 to 2018 school year, up 3%, almost 3%, from 111,562 in 2016-2017 year. That equates to roughly 10% of all students enrolled in New York City schools are homeless. The figure is so shocking that it is more than double the rate from the GFC 2007-2008 era. Government studies have shown that students without homes are less likely to meet grade level standards for reading and math and graduate from high school on time, said the New York Daily News. And in New Jersey, homelessness is up 9%. Another Democratic stronghold. New York and Jersey, usually. 9% compared. One Jersey governor, remember him? Ponzi guy. What was his name? Gerald Celente got screwed by him. MF Global. MF Global. Former governor. Did he get in trouble? No. He was a big donor to Barack Obama. He's got pictures of himself standing right next to him. No trouble. He's fine. Anyways, where were we? A new report finds homelessness rose sharply in the Garden State last year. According to the just released data compiled by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, there are 9,303 men, women, and children who are homeless in New Jersey this year, which is a 9% increase from 2017. See, the housing, the whole damn thing needs to crash. So all this stock market stuff I'm talking about, is it going to crash? Are they going to pop the bubble? Are they going to not? Are they going to let it ride back up? The reality is they need to let this thing crash. Let the markets crash. Let everything crash so that everything can renew. Like you're planting seeds again, the plant grows again, starts over. You can't keep the plant up here. It's ready to die. Pump it up. Put those little things on. You can pump the chest, whatever those things are. Pump them. The thing's ready to die. Just keep it alive. It's dying. It's wilting. Throw more fertilizer at it. Oh, that worked. Throw more fertilizer. Yes, even more. You're going to kill this thing. Let it die. Start over. And those of us who are smart enough to see this happening, see the cycles, don't pay attention to the piece of crap fake news, will know in advance when the next one's coming, and we will make the proper decisions to stay away from it. And then when it crashes, then we get back in, then we sell the house. Or you're living in the house you got for fire sale last time, you don't need to do it anyways. Maybe you have some investment property. I'll wait for the next crash. The mainstream media keeps touting how well the U.S. economy is doing, but if that was really accurate, we wouldn't be seeing numbers like these. Again, I don't necessarily think this is economy related. This is bubble related. Everything's a bubble and it's too expensive. So we may have a good economy, but a good economy doesn't equate people having a paycheck big enough to buy a house that they feel is a normal size house that we can afford. And they look at what they can afford and they're like, holy crap, we're going to have to live near the ghetto. In a small house. We can't do that. That's what houses are going. Oh my God. Go rent. Wow, rents are high. Whoa. Right? We're stuck. It's housing. This is a housing issue. Plain and simple. There's a bit more to the article, not much more, but I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Take care.